Hello, my name is Louise Bowler. I am in my second year of a creative writing BA here at the University of Brighton. As part of my literature and practice module, I undertook my student placement with a local independent publisher, Epoch Press, as a marketing and sales development assistant. So why Epoch Press? I have always had tremendous enthusiasm for literature, with a particular interest in the distribution of works from unrepresented writers, such as Black, Asian, minority ethnic, as I believe widening the market for diverse books is vital in amplifying marginalised voices. A report by the Centre for Literacy in Primary Education revealed that although the number of Black, Asian and minority ethnic protagonists in children's books had increased from 1% in 2017 to 4% in 2018, there is still a long way to go to achieve representation that reflects the UK population. I really resonated with the company's ethos that states its main imprint is seeking out new voices, authors who are producing high-quality literary fiction and who are looking for a publisher to help them achieve their ambitions. Their commitment is to fully consider all submissions on literary merit alone. I intend to pursue a career within the publishing industry after I graduate, so a scope into the mechanics of such a competitive industry is crucial to my understanding of how to market not only work from established authors, but to learn how to create a brand identity for myself. I saw this placement also as an opportunity to develop my computer literacy skills, as in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, everything is now heavily reliant on the digital terrain, and so familiarising myself with video communication software such as Zoom was essential for this role. I was particularly keen to work with an independent publisher as opposed to international or traditional, as with a smaller publishing house, it is easier to build a rapport with its affiliated authors and editorial team. There is more room for creative input, and the production process is quicker and more often efficient. My hours would need to adhere to my university timetable, so flexibility was key. Independent presses also have direct connections with their buyers and readers and enjoy close relationships with their distributors. This would then develop my networking skills in a controlled, professional, albeit virtual, environment. My initial key responsibilities for this role would entail the following: conducting research into book fairs and book events that take place in the southeast of England, which the company would be eligible to attend, review of the company's social media presence, so providing initiatives to bolster the number of social media followers and thus gain more exposure, and finally, contacting organisers of book fairs and book events to secure attendance, reviewing details of pricing, attendee profiles, and present the sales potential to Managing Director and Chief Editor Sean Campbell, whom I would be primarily liaising with throughout my placement. However, during the interviewing process, after discussing my recent background in both graphic design and videography, including my knowledge of editing software such as Final Cut Pro and Adobe Photoshop, Sean and I agreed it best to adapt my original brief to complement these creative abilities. Moving from the analytical side of things meant that I was granted total creative freedom over the company's social media presence, which we both felt needed some attention. During a meeting held via Zoom between myself and Sean, we discussed Epoch's forthcoming 9th edition of the Ezine on the theme of germination. The Ezine showcases a combination of the written word and other art forms, bringing together artists working in different mediums to encourage and inspire new perspectives on specific themes. I was then presented with a revised brief that would enable me full creative authority over the promotion of this edition. This would involve documenting my approach and agenda to running an online launch event. I would need to liaise with the in-house designer and editorial team to put arrangements in place, including agreeing data and aligning the timing with the website. I would also need to conduct tests before the live launch to ensure any music used would be audible, preventing troubleshooting on the day. An example of work I completed during this placement is the creation of supporting video content to help market the Ezine launch via its social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Firstly, I began to conduct research into social media marketing and how to effectively plan and document my agenda for an online event, something which I had no prior knowledge of. Social media is now almost an inextricable part of our daily lives, making it the perfect place to market new literary talent. In their chapter on social media marketing in a journal on life science, Drs. Saravana Kumar and Sugantha Lakshmi conclude that social media isn't about money or institutions, it isn't about stockholders making billions of dollars, it isn't about corporate ownership. Social media is about ordinary people taking control of the world around them and finding creative ways to bring their collective voices together to get what they want. They go on to state that social media marketing is the way of promoting a website, brand, or business by interacting with or attracting the interest of current or prospective customers through the channels of social media. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are the most popular social media that are widely used by the companies and the celebrities in promoting themselves and their brands. There is tremendous merit in digital marketing, making literature more accessible for those who wish to consume it. After immersing myself in articles and blogs from influencers and conducting additional appropriate research, I then took several free courses with LinkedIn Learning. The first course I completed focused on honing in digital marketing skills on a number of unpredictable and ever-evolving platforms. I learned that it is important to create content that is entertaining and value-driven, as opposed to something that is solely promotional. If the story you are telling is enjoyable, it is more likely to be engaging for the consumer. I also learned that it is important to balance my workload through an editorial calendar. This way I could structure my approach strategically whilst ensuring to adhere to my university timetable and develop my time management skills. For example, I ended up using Excel to create a spreadsheet to keep my social media efforts goal-focused and organised, which I could also share with the rest of the team at Epoch. The next course I completed focused on developing my skills in graphic design, which explained the elements, principles, and tools needed to create a successful composition and layout. I learnt that in order to create a dynamic and visually stimulating video, I would need to consider using negative space to reduce visual clutter. As Walt Whitman states, simplicity is the glory of expression. I also learnt that using bold typography, symmetry, and the rule of thirds would ensure visual harmony. Additionally, I had a look at several organisations who specialise in the promotion and distribution of independent or self-published books to further my understanding of how to effectively market them. Good Press are a volunteer-run, informally organised shop and event space dedicated to the promotion and production of independently or self-published printed matter, with a focus on visual arts and writing. Their careful aesthetic choices really inspired me to think outside the box in terms of how I would creatively explore the theme of germination. Similarly, I stumbled upon Industry, an annual visual arts and culture magazine run by students at Oxford University. I was dazzled by their use of bold graphics, creative use of negative space, and other stylistic choices that leaped off the screen. I decided to use iMovie as a platform to construct and edit my video instead of Final Cut Pro, as this was a fairly small-scale project. As mentioned previously, the theme of the Ezine was germination, meaning the development of a plant from a seed or spore after a period of dormancy and the process of something coming into existence and developing. I began by layering text over recycled vintage stock footage of flower, fungi, and seed growth time-lapses to communicate the theme of the event, whilst ensuring to provide information on the who, what, and when for consumers that would be powerful and clear. I have been careful to use both copyright-free audio and footage in my promotional content to avoid any illegalities. I used a muted colour palette to represent earthy tones and complement the vintage feel of the stock footage, applying my knowledge of how to effectively create dynamic composition. After collecting information from Sean and the editorial team, who disclosed all names of contributors for the event, I was able to begin curating the video. I decided to use animated graphics from Canva, a design platform used to create social media graphics, presentations, posters, documents, and other visual content. I chose images of plants and vines blooming alongside the text to create movement and diversity within my video, in hopes to captivate the interest of viewers. This worked really well alongside the stock footage to create cohesion and to reflect the theme of germination. Once I was happy with how the video looked, I uploaded it to a Google Drive shared with Sean so he could review the final product. A challenge I encountered was when exporting the video as a file onto social media. There were issues surrounding the size of the video in terms of megabytes, so I reduced the resolution until the video was compressed enough whilst also ensuring to maintain its quality. Once uploaded to Twitter and as an IGTV video on Instagram, the video was very well received by its audience, which was incredibly rewarding, and it was such an honour to represent eclectic and diverse work which matched my commitment and goals at the start of this project. Through completing this project, I gained and developed self-managerial, soft and transferable skills. I upskilled myself in the area of graphic design by experimenting with new compositional methods. I developed my time management skills by creating soft deadlines for myself, ensuring to meet requirements and adhere to my university timetable. I improved my networking skills by liaising with an editorial team and conversing with the company's affiliated authors and their audience. Now, with a valuable insight into the mechanics of the publishing world, I feel confident and competent moving forward to pursue a career within the industry, preferably in a role surrounding social media administration. Here are my references and some useful links to resources previously mentioned. Thank you for listening. I hope you found this presentation useful.